about Carlee Russell from Alabama, and the Hoover Police Department they just did a press conference. I'm sure you probably didn't get to see it. They just did a press conference. I believe the chief of Hoover Police, who was dressed in a nice blazer. I don't think I've ever seen a police officer dressed like that. This officer had on a suit like my man from Shannon Sharp. He was dressed
Mhm.
like Shannon Sharp, but they haven't accused her of doing anything illegal yet in this press conference. And I'm talking about Carlee Russell, who claimed that she was kidnapped and then she popped up at her parents' house a couple days later. The police went over there to investigate. And she's the one that claimed that there was a baby on the side of the freeway that was somewhere between the ages of 2 and 4 on July 13th.
Mhm.
But it turns out that there's no evidence to back up her story. They have video cameras on the freeway. They even have a video camera of her on the freeway. There's no evidence that any of this stuff happened. And it looks like the law enforcement is going to be arresting her for reporting a false story in the next few days, man. Did you get a chance to tap in with this crazy Carlee Russell story?
I did, and I started seeing a bunch of different videos and things, even showing my daughters and them, what I mean? When you see cones set up in the street or you see certain things in certain area, I mean, if you don't see an actual, the city van, you don't see the actual a police car, you don't see certain shit, don't stop for that shit. You know what I mean? Baby on the side of the road, hey man, so but it was a strange story to me, you know what I mean? Just to see a baby and you jumped out and now all of a sudden you've been abducted and then you found Alex. In my mind, it could have went two ways. It could have really went that way. She jumped out and tried to help something and got abducted. Media blew up so much on it that the people said we don't want this kind of heat and let her go. You know what I mean? Now they could saying now they want to try to say she may be mentally ill. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, man, I don't know the truth. This woman really could have been abducted, and once they found out how much press and much heat was coming, they didn't want to be a part of this and end up letting her go. And she maybe don't remember everything. Maybe they did knock her out. Maybe they did drug her. I just don't know. But it's a crazy story, man. I don't get it. What's your take on it?
I don't believe it because there's nothing to support it. There's not a shred of evidence. There's nothing to support her story. Her parents are believing her though. Her parents clearly said that they believe that her daughter was abducted. They got her on video ordering some food from a place called Tazeki's. She went to Target at shortly before this so-called abduction occurred. She calls 911. Okay, she goes to Target at about 9:24. She calls
Mm-hmm.
911 at 9:34, and then she goes missing at 9:36. And then everything was left in her car. The food from Tazeki's was left in the car. Her iPhone, the stuff she bought from Target, an Apple Watch, and this infamous wig that everyone seems to put a lot of emphasis on.
Mm-hmm.
All of that was left in the car. And then they find she appears at her place 2 days later. The police go there. They interview her shortly. And they now in the press conference, they said they want to do a follow up interview with her, and they're not giving the follow up interview right now. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's looking good for her. I don't think her story is matching up with the evidence that the police have. There's no one else that reported a baby abducted. There is no missing baby. And they also said that she has no prior history of mental health. Also, the last thing that just came out in this press conference just today, this just hit, is that she did a bunch of searches. They got all her searches.
Mm-hmm.
She did some unusual searches on the internet. She searched Amber Alert. She searched about the movie Taken, which is about being abducted.
Mm-hmm.
What else did she search? She searched about an Amber Alert, the movie Taken, and about a Birmingham bus station. So the chief of police of Hoover, the Hoover police, are saying that her searches are unusual, and it's pretty clear that the police don't believe her either.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, yeah. See, I didn't have all that information about that. So that's crazy how they could
This
just go in
brand
your
new.
searches, man. Yeah, I'm
This
just
is
saying that's
on.
crazy how they can go in your searches and just see what you was Googling and shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, that story just took me for another loop, you know what I mean? But let me ask you this. What have she done criminal outside of now? Who called the police? Okay, she called 911. Bam. She somehow found her way home or found her way to her parents' house 2 days later.
Yeah.
So basically, only thing you got right now was making a false accusation on 911. Is that the only crime that was committed here?
Well, the chief of police was asked that question in the press conference, and he said it's a little too early to go into that. We're still investigating,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, she pops up at her family's house on the 15th, 2 days later, on foot. And she gave the same story that she was kidnapped, she was abducted. She told a story about a man with orange hair that had a bald spot took her. He was with a woman. She never saw the woman. She just heard the voice. They took her to some trailer that was connected to a truck. She got snatched in the woods. The unfortunate thing is just there's no evidence of any of this happening. So, but I,
But if it's evidence of it not happening though, see the thing about it though, Alex, you down in Alabama, bro. You ain't on Western or Maine or something. You in Alabama, bro. You know what I mean? And you ain't never even heard of Hoover, Alabama. You know what I mean? So some abductions can go down so easy in some of these places. I've been in these Tennessee, certain parts of Utah, man, where it ain't nobody out there. You know what I mean? And I ain't saying Hoover ain't a city or nothing like that, but it ain't like Los Angeles, But on the flip side, I believe she could have been abducted. Now it just takes me for a loop when you get to talking about the searches. The taking, the this, that, the other. I just don't know what would she be trying to accomplish by saying she was abducted, and then she just left her phone, left her car, left her food, left her everything, just and they found it. I would have left a lot of. I mean, even she was staging it. Shit, I would have took the food. I got to eat. You know what I mean? But I don't get it. What's her point? What was her end game? What was she set to accomplish from this? I believe, like I say, man, is highly possible. Only thing throwing me for a loop is the searches. But if it wasn't for the searches and things of that nature, man, I would believe that she is possible she could have got abducted. You're not gonna find the baby because if they used the baby for bait, ain't no missing baby because it was their baby or somebody they knew baby or something of that nature. Um, what would they plan to do with her when they did abduct her? Like I say, the heat could have got so hot they was like, no, get her up out of here because But at the same time, man, man, this is shit. That's wild. I don't know what to say about it.
well, the parents are standing with her, and it just seems outlandish that a baby would be on the side of the freeway. And she described the baby as a white baby wearing a t-shirt and only a diaper, and that nobody else saw this baby on a freeway that had a lot of traffic. And she also gave a 911 call, and the 911 call, it was very normal. It was very relaxed. She gave
Mm.
details and descriptions of what she saw. And but yeah, the searches are a little bizarre, and the police said that there's no evidence of a crime. So that means that they don't believe her, and that they want to interview her again. And here's a question that no one's been able to answer: where was she at for these two? If it was a hoax, if she wasn't kidnapped, where was she for these last 2 days? Where has she been for the last 48 hours? No one seems to be able to answer that question either. And I think that's the key here. And who knows? I gave you that information on the searches because that just came from the chief's press conference. Maybe they're misinterpreting the searches. I don't know. They didn't provide any evidence of these searches. We would have to wait for a trial if there would ever be a trial. But we just going on the word of the police right now that she did these searches. So FG, without these searches, it seems like this is a very possible scenario.
It's a possible scenario. She down in Hoover, Alabama. I don't see that much. And is what is she black, white? What is she?
Carlee Russell's a sister.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't see the police giving that much help, down in those parts like that, man. You know what I mean? So they not finna use no bunch of resources. Now, the thing that they do might hit her with is how much resources was used to look for her. if they come deem that she was, bullshitting or something like that, they will hit her with a bill to say, you used $50,000, $100,000 worth of resources looking for you, ambulance, police department, fire department, whatever, and they will put her on trial for that bill. You know what I mean? But as far as a crime being committed, you know what I mean? Who can say she really didn't? You can't say she committed a crime by calling 911 saying she saw a baby based on what if she really did see one? You can't prove that. You can't say prove that she didn't see one. On the flip side, like I say, man, I believe it's highly possible. Strange thing is like with the searches, but what is that? That could be a coincidence. Like you say, where was she for 48 hours? Um, who knows? But at the same time, man, her mother nor her mental capacity. When the police interviewed her, they can see if she, seemed like she coming down from a drug high, or see if she, got any, how bright she is. You know what I mean? How but I don't got enough details to really, pinpoint, what even could have happened.
Yeah, one of her searches, according to the police, was how much does an Amber Alert cost? This is prior, so that is an unusual search to do, like a day before this happens. And these are relatively these searches were done close to the incident happening, prior to the incident. So the police actually said in the press conference that these searches are unusual considering these circumstances. But hey, she better get a lawyer, and I don't think she should do another interview with the police, because all they're going to try to do is trip her up on something that she said before, try to, get her in a twist. So she's doing the right thing by not giving that second interview, I believe.
Yeah, no doubt, you know what I mean? But if nothing come out of this, you know what I mean? I think people are learning new traps and new things that people are doing to set people up, in different areas across the nation, man. You know what I mean? And especially women, you know what I mean? So, just be mindful out there when you guys out there, moving around and you see roadblocks and you see detours and you see certain things, kind of be paying attention, you know what I mean? Because sometimes some of this shit is a trap. It is evil people out there. It is people out there doing something. Only thing I will add to this, Alex, is I believe that if she really was abducted, you know what I mean? I believe that, the heat got turned up so fast that maybe the people who did do it didn't want that kind of heat and let her go. What was their reason for abducting her, in the first place? I don't know. But even if it's even all true. So, man, this is going to be one thing that I think, being that where she was, they probably going to end up blaming her and sweeping it under the rug. But this shit really, truly could have happened.
Well, the police came to Carlee Russell's home after she appeared 2 days later and did that interview in her home. They want her to come down to the station and give an interview, and I wonder if they recorded that interview they did at her home to get her story. But they're not feeling it, man, and I kind of believe that I'm going with the police theory on this, that no crime was committed. And hey, when she was describing her abductors as having orange hair with a bald spot, it's just weird details to give that it seems like maybe she was just under the influence of something.
Well, I thought of that as well, and it seemed like that they would have did a toxicology report, to see if it was anything in her system. That's one of the first things I thought of. Maybe you should so high, man, she just tripped the fuck out. But if this is real, Alex, I don't want to, say that this couldn't happen, or I don't want to just say, she lying. You know what I mean? I just honestly got to say I don't know. And at the end of the day, man, no matter whether she's in trouble or not, at the end of the day, man, she all right. So you know what I mean? I gotta say that part right there, that's what's up.
Yeah, I was just looking at my notes. Those searches she did were the same day at 12 in the 12 p.m. hour. She calls 911 at 9:34 p.m. So, that's kind of like the timeline to just, ponder on, think about that. Are those searches relevant to this investigation? But you're right though. They got to prove that there was no baby. They got to prove that there was no abduction, and that's difficult to prove. You got to prove the negative.
Right, right.
That's difficult. But they do have footage of her car on the highway, on the interstate at night, so it's hard to see. But according to her story, someone emerged from the woods and took her. So I'm assuming if they got this footage, you can see her car parked on the highway.
Hmm.
They could enhance this footage and see if there was a person that came out of the woods. Where did she walk to? Did she just walk away, or was she
Yeah,
taken
it seemed like
away?
she should have ran. You see a person, you ran. But don't get me wrong. I drove trucks for years, so I put on on the side of some shady highways. Myself. Whether to check something on the truck, and I mean, I'm double looking around just based on, man. It's spooky out here. You know what I mean? And a wolf or something can grab you, or So I get what you're saying, but at the same time, man, there's a weird I don't believe they ever going to get to the real truth. I think they going to see what's going on. You probably never hear from it again. They probably deem her um maybe oh shit, who knows, Alex. This one crazy right here.
I think they're going to arrest her. I think they're going to charge her with something, maybe a misdemeanor or something. Because the way they did a huge press conference this morning, man, and they wouldn't have spent that much time with the media answering questions, addressing this, if they didn't have a plan going forward. And I believe that plan is to take her into custody for some sort of false reporting. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got on the Carlee Russell story. And I know most people just don't believe her right off the bat. Hey, what's the craziest thing you've ever seen? You've been on these interstates, highways, and freeways probably more than anybody driving that truck. You seen anything crazy on these roads back, during your career?
No, no doubt, Alex. I've seen a bunch of things, bro. I've seen people lose their life right in front of me. I'm seeing, a lot of weird things. I've been in town, Alex, where, you know what I mean, your big bad FG was scared to get out of the truck, bro. Because some of these towns, homie, and back, like I say, in places in Utah, between Colorado, that people never heard of, and there's not one single black person in this town, bro. Where real racism reside. You know what I mean? It's still some places like that. You know what I mean? And people that never been there, only been to cities. I've been in a lot of backwoods towns, bro. Where I walked in a restaurant before one time, and I mean, literally, the restaurant was packed, and the whole place just stopped, Alex, and just stared at me, bro. You know what I mean? And let me know clearly I wasn't wanted. You know what I mean? I've seen this shit before. You know what I mean? So, I've seen so much shit out there on that road, man. I could go on, and that could be a whole episode one day about, things I've seen out there, bro. But shit exists out there. It's really some spooky shit out there. It's really, you stop your ass into some of these towns, man, and get out thinking you finna, put some air in your, I mean, these people will do something to you. You know what I mean? These guys got some of these real backwoods dudes that live in the sticks that you'll never be found, so I believe it, it's real, and so, man, just her saying that, like I say, I don't just not believe it. It's just with those searches that threw me for a loop.
Hey, maybe when you walked into that establishment and everybody was looking at you crazy, they was trying to figure out, is he black
Hell
or
no.
is he
Did
not
no.
black?
Man, they was looking like, man, hey, this ain't for you. You know what I mean? This ain't for you, bro. And I've been in a couple towns like that. I've been in a town before where, the big brother had to hit the little brother on the shoulder and be like, man, stop staring so hard. And dude was about 12, and I just asked one of the brothers, I said, he never seen a black person before. He said, no. You know what I mean? The dude was 12 years old. You know what I mean? And but you got these towns where 2,000 people, and they got their own everything, and it's 200 miles in the mountains somewhere, in the back of some mountains. They don't move around like that, so, that shit really exists. Same way with, like, places in Africa and places in Nigeria where you got tribes that they don't move, you know what I mean? They don't get out and see other things. These places really exist, Alex. So, you know what I mean? You got to be careful when you out there on those highways, some of these towns, some of these roads. You know what I mean? And that's in all countries. It ain't just, we ain't just talking about American. We just ain't talking about white. We talking about all countries. You know what I mean? So be careful when
So
you're traveling out there. Yeah, because we've even heard of abductions, people going on cruises, people going on, to other countries to visit, and end up in the wrong town, and get something happen to them.
So FG is giving Carlee Russell the benefit of the doubt until further evidence proves her wrong. But it takes us back to the everything you describing, as spooky as it sounds. It takes us back to the James Byrd incident, which was like 25, 30 years ago, where the brother got dragged by a bunch of racists. behind a truck. I think they tied him up and then they just drove
Yeah,
him
I
through.
remember that.
That was James Byrd.